a big issue going on in England at the moment about somehow the Supreme Court, whatever it is, some arbitrary group of people somewhere have decided that trans people, or more specifically men who think that they're women, are actually not women. And this is called a win for common sense, or it's called a win for the right wing, because of the nature of politics. We've decided that, you know, common sense lies with whichever side that we happen to be on. If you're a leftist, well, left is the common sense, and if you're on the right, well, the right wing is the side of common sense. I made a video maybe a year ago where I said that one of the big issues with society in terms of its relations between the sexes, or, you know, more broadly dating, marriage, and so on. The way that I characterised the problem is quite a unique one that you don't really see, and I got no feedback from that video. But I said that all people are now homosexual. All people are homosexual not biologically or even naturally, but socially.
Take exit 1 on the left to M25 and enter the roundabout.
Sociologically, we are homosexual, and that is because of the removal of the sexual dynamics of the role models, the male role and the female role. People don't. There are certain things people don't like to admit, and even ostensibly intelligent people will run around certain topics. You know, people that make it their business, their career, to talk about politics and social topics, and yet they'll do the runaround on certain things, and this is one of them. Really cutting to the truth, the heart of certain things. And one of them is that with the removal of gender roles, sexual roles, we rendered everyone homosexual. Because, and even me saying that, I know in your mind you cannot comprehend what I am saying. You do not understand what I'm saying. If you make something homogeneous, the key part of that word, homo, which, forgive me if I'm wrong, but as far as I'm aware, that is a Latin word that means something along the lines of same.
At the roundabout, take the second exit to M25.
So if everybody is the same, then there is no longer a distinction between male and female. Now, when people engage in sexual relations with what is their equal, we say that's homosexuality. Now, biologically, it's not homosexual because there is still the male and the female biological exchange happening. It's funny to call it an exchange. But insofar as the lived experience in the society and civilization, we've become the same, and that is really the only reason why the trans issue is able to arrive in the first place, is because the stage is already set, that the conditions are already there to breathe life to their delusion or their political agenda, or however you want to frame it, the issue. You know, first we had the removal of the gender roles through this slow abolition of religious life generally. But once the roles were removed, then you had space for these people to come in and say, well, actually, since we're already the same, you know, we're basically already the same, although we don't admit it, we have this grand narrative about feminism, which is so far in the weeds that we don't even know how to talk about it anymore. All we have, and this goes for the majority of politics today, it's all a caricature. We don't live in a serious world. We have a world of memes. We are a cartoonish caricature people, and we live inside of a Disneyland fantasy of our own making that's been this way for 100 years, and it's killing us, and we can't admit it. So we end up with issues like this trans debate, where we can't admit that we're all basically the same now, and the only people that realise this are the trans people, which is why they're so perplexed that no one else seems to get it. And I'm not advocating for it at all, but this is the way that it is, where things have progressed so far because we've determined it to be that way, and yet we want to hamstring the full realisation of what it is that we've created, because we don't like what we've created. At the same time, we've forgotten who we used to be. So they say, well, we're all basically the same. We may as well recognise it both in law and biology. You know, if we're going to, on the one hand, sociologically pretend that everyone's the same, why do we have this cognitive dissonance? You know, why not go the whole hog? Why not just render biology, you know, previously it was immutable, now it's not. We've already proven that. The removal of God and religion and the order that instills, that it fosters, that it nurtures, the removal of that has been the greatest cost to man, a cost so great that he's still he's still doing the balance sheet, the profit and loss. It hasn't finished being drawn up, and the extent of the loss hasn't been realised yet. You know, but once we're kicked out of the house, you know, and we're homeless, then we realise, okay, maybe we have hit rock bottom here. Might be time to hand over our authorities to something a bit wiser, a bit greater than ourselves, you know, because on our own we've not really made it. We've kind of lost everything. Actually, we're kind of on dire straits here.